So, this is a quote that has broken the hockey world, and it was given to us by Pierre LeBrun earlier this morning. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I only saw this just now. 15-hour time difference in Taiwan compared to Vancouver, right? So ultimately, I'm responding to it a little bit late, but I wanted to dive into the truth about the Hughes. Pierre LeBrun went out there and said this. I asked Jack Hughes about whether he talks to his brother Quinn about his future and possibly playing together. This is the headline question, you know. Jack smiled back. Honestly, I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, I would love for Quinn to. Eventually, I'd love to play with him. And whether that's in New Jersey or at what time that takes, at some point I want to play with Quinn. But yeah, that's the question going around. They talk about it all day up in Vancouver, you know? But yeah, I'd love to play with Quinn at some point. The comments were part of his NHL Player Media Tour interview session with myself, Jay Clipperton, S. Wino, THN's Ryan Kennedy, M. Larkin, Matt Tees John, and Russo Hockey. So, of course, Pierre LeBrun goes out there and tags all the guys that he was doing the interview with, but Jack Hughes speaking out about how he would love to play for Quinn Hughes' team. Or he would love Quinn Hughes to play for his team, vice versa. Whichever one you want to go with, whichever floats your boat, whichever sounds nicer to you. Grady went out there and said, oh, it's happening! Canucks, baby! And this picture, of course, is from 2018, when Quinn Hughes was drafted 7th overall and Jack Hughes was wearing the Canucks hat. In a way, this was the perfect scenario because Quinn Hughes was drafted by Vancouver 7th overall. Jack Hughes was the projected 1st overall pick the next year in 2019, and the 2019 draft was being held in Vancouver. So it was written in the stars for Jack Hughes to become a Canuck as well. We all know the Canucks didn't end up getting 1st overall. They slipped all the way to 10, and they got Podkolzin instead. Whether that's in New Jersey or at what time that takes, oh, so now we know why Luke Hughes wants that 5-year contract. Oh boy, Devils fans, it ain't nail-biting time just yet, but we will circle back in a few years. Now, we can dive into some of the other replies over here. Jack wants to play in Van. Screw Luke Hughes, right? Better possibility in New Jersey than Vancouver. Tampering, is this? Who really knows? Sounds to me like Jack wants out of New Jersey. That is, of course, not being totally serious there. Canucks fans replying to this, thinking that Jack wants to go to Vancouver, has me dying laughing, Matt Adams replies. So, of course, a comment like this is going to stir up some feathers, and whether or not people read into this as saying Jack Hughes wants to come to Vancouver, or Quinn would eventually want to come to New Jersey, or both guys would want to leave at the same time and go to a new team with each other, and Luke possibly, you can take into this what you will, but I will go out there and say this shouldn't be seen as a conclusion. For what it's worth, there is the opposing reply. Taj went out there and said this: Quinn should give the exact same quote as Jack when he's asked about it today or tomorrow and just replace New Jersey with Vancouver. It would kill the story, for this week, at least. Because part of the reason this is even a big deal is because Jack straight up says, yeah, whether it's here in New Jersey or wherever, I want to play with Quinn. Man, he should have just said Team USA. I want to play with Quinn all the games. I want to play with him every shift. I want to be with my brothers on Team USA. And then it's like, okay, that's what he's talking about. Now it's legitimately like, okay, yeah, it's in New Jersey. Quinn might leave. If he comes here, that's fantastic. Or we might leave. We might go somewhere else together. It's fantastic. Of course, it's not, like, surprising to hear him say that he wants to play with his brother, but the way it came out, oh boy, he's like, yeah, the media talk about it all day in Vancouver. Now we're going to talk about this. Here's a reply from Johnny Lazarus. It highlights the state of the NHL, how you've got guys like Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin performing at an elite level for the teams that drafted them. And at the same time, young stars are openly talking about wanting to play with their brothers. Old school meets new school. It won't last forever, so it's cool to take a second and appreciate this. That, of course, bodes very well with the Sidney Crosby comments from earlier today, which we are not going to talk about yet. I want to make a video about that for tomorrow morning. But Crosby, Ovi doing their thing. You've got young brothers going out there and discussing their willingness to potentially play with each other if it means one or both of them ends up needing to leave. I love when players stay with one team for their entire career. You don't see much loyalty that much these days. The NBA is especially active with player movement. Now, to jump back over to the Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes thing, let's dive into the Reddit here, because the quote posted by LeBron was posted onto our hockey, and I wanted to go over some of the response here, because a lot of Reddit is seemingly more reasonable and rational and less quick to judge as it is on Twitter and potentially Instagram. This is the top comment here. Breaking news. Brothers like each other. More at 11. That's breaking news for a lot of families. Yeah, that is true. Me and my brother would always make sure we were on opposite teams. It was more fun that way. Let's go out there and read this. You guys didn't read it right. He's clearly saying that he hates New Jersey and he wants to move to Vancouver on a sweetheart deal. Right? Right? And that he likes Quinn more than Luke. No, obviously, all three Hughes brothers will leave their respective teams and start their own expansion franchise. How do I say yes, I would like to play with Quinn without potentially pissing off my own fans or get a tampering accusation? I thought players can't tamper with other players, at least in a capacity that gets them fined. And I don't know how he could piss off both of his own team's fans. It's widely known that they want to play together, somewhere. It's just New Jersey technically has the upper hand because they control 2 of the 3. These types of comments are nothing burgers. What's he going to say? No, I hate the idea of being around family. Honestly, the Hughes should start trolling the media. No, I don't want to play with my brother. I can't stand being around him off the ice when we are playing on different teams. Why do I want to spend even more time with him? Hughes has never really been afraid to not comment on something he doesn't want to comment on. Going an extra step and saying whether it's in New Jersey or at what time that takes is a little unnecessary. Which I will agree with. I do think this part of the quote was like, oh, that was a little much there, Jack. You should have just said Team USA. But ultimately, what was said, and now we are responding to it. It would really hurt to see Quinn leave Vancouver, but it would be cool to see all 3 of the Hughes bros on the same team. I just want one overtime during the regular season where all 3 of them are playing on the ice with each other. It would be a very fun 10 seconds. Hughes your words carefully. I just saw a Vancouver fan fall to his knees in Costco. So at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are starting to understand that this is the reality of the matter, how the brothers, they definitely want to play with each other, and they're not going to shy away from that. Jim Rutherford said it last season. Now we've got Jack Hughes talking about it. Quinn probably would agree behind the scenes, but of course, Quinn is very, very media trained. He's not going to go out there and say anything that would potentially incriminate his supposed willingness to remain a Vancouver Canuck, even if his brother says, yeah, even if it's in New Jersey, I'd like to play with my brother. So, with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you respond to these Jack Hughes comments about playing with Quinn Hughes? And do you think the Vancouver reunion is actually a possibility here? Both brothers, Jack and Luke, are on New Jersey. Luke needs a contract, but it's been reported he wants a deal that would align with Jack Hughes' contract expiration. We'll see what happens with that, but for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Rolls 99, and bye.